Hitting the jackpot. That's the dream, right? You've probably played it out in your head 1,000 times, booking a one-way ticket to a sun-soaked beach, holding the keys to your dream house, or transforming your closet with those designer labels you've always wanted. But what if you win and then nothing? Well, it turns out that for some winners, their dreams were dashed when the lottery refused to pay out their winnings. Think that's impossible? Well, think again. Let's see how and why the lottery decided not to pay. Number 6. Two criminal BFFs. In April 2019, Mark Goodrum was released from jail. What do you think was the first thing on his mind? Celebration, of course, and who better to join him than his buddy John Ross Watson? These two used to be partners in crime, literally. They were from Bolton, but they decided to go to London, thinking they would make more cash there. Now, here comes the crazy part. These guys, without a penny to their names, decided to try their luck with a lottery scratch-off. But oops, no cash, no bank card. So what did they do? Well, it was more of a cheeky move than a smart one, because they nicked someone's debit card and bought the lottery ticket. And guess what? They actually won. We're talking a whopping $5.08 million US. Can you believe it? And then it happened. A call came from the Camelot Lottery office. Watson picked up the call and then passed the phone to Goodrum. The lottery officials wanted their details. Well, bank details to be precise. And that's when they made the mistake. The big mistake. Goodrum said that he doesn't have a bank account. This was the thing that raised suspicion. But how do you have a debit card with no bank account? Camelot smelled something fishy and started digging. Meanwhile, our not-so-smart duo decided to brag about their win to the Sun newspaper. They bragged about a 4-day party spree. They even got a fancy lawyer to try and muscle Camelot into handing over the cash. But as you might guess, things started to unravel fast. Camelot's investigation revealed the truth that the debit card wasn't theirs. It belonged to a guy named Joshua Adaman. And these two had been on a little shopping adventure with the stolen card, hitting up a Lundus and Waitrose. Mr. Adaman, who was the real card owner, thankfully got his money back from the bank. But what about our two would-be millionaires? Well, they got caught, of course. By March 2020, both were arrested. And get this, while on bail, Goodrum didn't even show up in court. It got him in even more trouble. When the police finally caught up with him in December, he tried to hide behind a sofa in his home. Yup, behind a sofa. How smart of him. So what happened in the end? Well, Watson ended up with 18 months in jail, and Goodrum got 19 for his extra shenanigans. And just like that, their short-lived dream of luxury and riches turned into a back-to-prison reality. Well, they deserved it, because it was indeed their wrongdoing. But in the next story, it was the lottery officials who messed up. Number 5. South Carolina Code Error. This is the story of the South Carolina Code Error. A real Christmas miracle. Or was it? So it was Christmas Day 2017, and something unbelievable happened in South Carolina. There was this local gas station where whoever was buying the ticket ended up winning. These were the tickets for the holiday cash at-a-play game. It was tic-tac-toe, but instead of X's and O's, there were these cute Christmas trees and winter images. If you get 3 trees in a line, you win. And then you can cash up to $500 per grid. And guess what? Everyone was winning. People quickly caught on and started buying tickets like there was no tomorrow. In fact, over 2 hours, an insane 42,000 tickets were printed, and players shelled out a total of $71 grand. Retailers were unaware of what was happening, and they all started handing out cash. They gave about $1.7 million in winnings paid out for a game where you usually don't see that many winners. The game was like a broken slot machine, spewing out jackpot after jackpot. But all good things must come to an end, right? The state caught on and pulled the plug on the game after just 2 hours. 2 days later, they dropped the bombshell on the players that it was just a programming error by the computer system vendor. The so-called winners were holding on to their tickets, hoping for a payday. But the lottery came out and said it was just a coding error and they won't pay the winnings. The vendor who was responsible for this mess was also fired on the spot and replaced by a new company called IGT. Then the lottery announced that the players could send in their tickets, not for the winnings, but just to get their money back for the tickets. Yep, that's right, no millions, just a refund on your $1 per ticket. South Carolina law was clear that there would be no payouts for tickets printed in error. The total mishap would have cost around $35 million in erroneous winnings. But those lucky enough to cash in before the shutdown got to keep their share of the $1.7 million. For a brief moment, thousands thought they hit the jackpot, only to learn they were just a part of a statewide tech blunder. Some got lucky, most didn't, and in the end, it was a lottery story for the books. But what can we say? The state was right here to withhold the winnings. But this was not the case in this next story. Here, the winners were in the right, and it was the state who was clearly in the wrong. Number 4. Illinois in debt. This is about the time Illinois found itself in a bit of a pickle back in 2015. Let us just take you to that scenario. You've just won the lottery in the land of Lincoln, and you're dreaming of all the ways you're gonna spend your jackpot. But hold on, there's a twist. The state of Illinois says to you, "Sorry, we can't pay out any prizes." Imagine the shock. Imagine the heartbreak. Well, that's what happened to a lot of people over there in Illinois. In fact, the state couldn't pay any lottery winnings that were over $600. This wasn't a one-off thing either. A few months before this bombshell, winners expecting those big, happy checks were handed IOUs instead. Yes, IOUs, like the ones you might scribble on a napkin to a friend. Except these IOUs were from the state, basically saying that they owe you, but you'll have to wait. Why was this happening, you ask? Well, Illinois was in a bit of a financial crunch. They hadn't passed a budget for 2 straight years, and their unpaid bills were piling up. We're talking about a staggering $15 billion in unpaid bills and a mind-blowing $250 billion owed to public employees. The situation was so dire that Illinois even had to stop selling Powerball and Mega Millions tickets. Can you believe it? Now, you can guess how the jackpot winners felt. They were not having it. They started suing the state, rightfully angry for not getting their winnings. Imagine winning the lottery and then having to sue to get your prize. But then, things started to get better. By 2017, Illinois got its finances in order. They managed to scrounge up some of their funds and, lo and behold, they began paying out the winners. It was their version of a financial fairy tale ending. Hopefully, all those winners got every single dollar they were owed, and they were finally able to rest and enjoy their lives. Unlike this next couple, who probably never slept after winning the lottery. Number 3. The unluckiest couple. This is the story of Martin and Kay Todd, a British couple whose lottery tale is more bittersweet than sweet. Let's take you back to 2001, when Martin and Kay hit the jackpot. They won £3 million in the lottery, which is about $3.81 million in US dollars. But the twist in the story is that they had no clue they were millionaires. Yep, for 6 whole months, their winning ticket was out there, and they were none the wiser. It was only when the National Lottery made a public appeal for the winners to come forward that they put 2 and 2 together. You see, they'd always played the same numbers every week. So that's when they realized they had won a long time ago. Can you imagine the excitement? But then, they had one other plot twist. They couldn't find their ticket. What a heart-dropping moment it would have been. Undeterred, they dove into a mission to prove they were the rightful owners. And guess what? They actually found proof. They managed to pull computer records from their local audit, showing Kay had bought the ticket with the winning numbers. But, oh no, there was another complication. A little-known rule in the National Lottery stated that lost tickets needed to be reported within 30 days. Past that, they're considered invalid, and even with solid proof, no ticket meant no prize. So the couple was stuck in limbo. They had to wait 45 agonizing days for a decision from the lottery. And the verdict was a big, fat no. They wouldn't get the prize. Martin and Kay didn't give up, though. They launched a campaign for help, drawing attention from big names like Sir Richard Branson and even Tony Blair. Everyone tried to convince the lottery to give them the prize. But Camelot had already made the decision. No ticket, no money. This roller coaster took a toll on Martin and Kay's marriage, straining it to breaking point. Martin spent 5 years battling in court, trying to claim what he believed was rightfully theirs. In the end, they both got divorced. Martin later reflected that perhaps it was for the best that they never got the money, saying it might not have brought happiness after all. Well, it leaves you wondering, what if? If they had their ticket, would they have been happier, still together, living a life of luxury? Or was Martin right, and the money wouldn't have been the answer? Well, no matter how many hypothetical scenarios we think of, they don't matter now. The couple got their dreams shattered, just like this other young couple from England. Number 2. Payment glitch. This is the story of Rachel and Liam, a young English couple who learned a tough lesson in May of 2022. At that time, Rachel was 19 and was studying business at Brighton University. Liam was 21 and he was an economics student at the University of Hertfordshire. They weren't just in love, they were also partners in lottery dreams. Every week, like clockwork, they played the same numbers on an online lottery platform: 6, 12, 22, 29, 33, with lucky stars 6 and 11. They had even set up their profile to automatically buy a ticket with these numbers each week. The couple was so organized about this stuff. Then came the week that would turn their world upside down. They checked the winning numbers on the lottery website, and their numbers matched. We're talking about a jackpot of 182 million pounds, which is about 231 million US dollars. They even got a message on the UK's National Lottery app confirming a winning match. But wait till you get all excited for the couple. When they called to claim their fortune, they were hit with the news that would crush any lottery player's dream. Their direct debit payment had been declined. They would receive no money. Why? Well, Rachel didn't have enough cash in her bank account to cover the £2.50 ticket charge. It was about $3.10 in US dollars. And instead of handing over the life-changing sum, Camelot wished them the best of luck in future draws. Ouch! However, it wasn't entirely their mistake, you know. They were never notified by the app that the purchase had failed. If they had known, Rachel could have easily transferred some money into her account. But no heads up meant no ticket. And no ticket, as we all know, means no jackpot. Rachel and Liam had already started dreaming big. The dream house, the dream car, but those dreams were shattered with the bad news. Even after this big heartbreak, they didn't lose hope. They decided that they would keep playing, but decided to change their lottery numbers, moving on from the ones that had brought them so close, yet so far from their dreams. This story is a gut-wrenching reminder of how a simple oversight can have massive consequences, especially when millions are on the line. This is the same thing that happened with two roommates who missed their windfall just because of their simple oversight. Number 1. Crumpled Million. Eric Onyengo and Salvatore Cambria were roommates and lottery partners. They would always buy and play the lottery together. And it was also together that they experienced what can only be described as a lottery player's worst nightmare. One fateful day, they sat down to check their Powerball numbers. It was just 15 minutes after the drawing. Eric read the numbers from the lottery website while Salvatore checked their ticket. But as luck would have it, the numbers didn't match. Now, if this happened to you, what would you have done next? Throw out the ticket, right? Well, that's exactly what they did. In a move that many of us might have made, Salvatore crumpled the ticket, tucked it into an empty cigarette pack, and tossed it into the trash. Little did they know, this was $1 million mistake. Literally. You see, the numbers Eric was reading were numbers from the previous draw. The lottery website hadn't been updated yet. Can you imagine? They'd actually won $1 million, but they didn't know because of a delayed website update. By the time they realized the blunder, it was too late. The garbage truck had already come and whisked away their fortune to a landfill in Ontario. Desperate, they got a lawyer, traced the ticket to the landfill, and even considered getting a police dog to sniff it out. But unfortunately, it was a lost cause. The ticket, along with their $1 million dream, was gone forever. Even with proof of purchase and knowing they had the winning numbers, the rule was clear. As you might have memorized by heart by now, no ticket, no prize. They even tried to sue the New Jersey Lottery for not updating the numbers online quickly enough. However, their attempt was a long shot. They argued it's the age of the internet, not carrier pigeons. Updates should be faster. But in the end, what can you do? Once the lottery makes a decision, it's pretty much set in stone. By now, it might be clear that the world of the lottery is filled with unexpected twists, turns, and sometimes heartbreaks. But the lottery saga doesn't end here. If you thought these stories were something, wait until you hear about lottery winners who actually got their hands on the prize but then lost it all. So stay tuned and make sure to watch our next video to explore the other side of the lottery coin.